Friday nights in the mountains hit different. Rivalries renew as August heat turns into cold mountain nights. From Mitchell to Murphy, we've got the plays, the players, and the matchups that matter. The battle for the Blue Ridge starts here. This is Mountain Matchups.
Welcome back to Mountain Matchups. The battle for the Blue Ridge starts here. I'm Caleb, joined as always by my partners in ball, Corey and Warren. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. It's the best time of the year. You got family, football, leftover turkey sandwiches with hot sauce and extra mayo. It's my favorite time of the year. Boys, are y'all pumped for Thanksgiving?
Let's do this.
I'm always pumped. I'll eat so much food.
I can't wait to get to Mom and Dad's on Thursday with you, Corey, and just chow down. It's going to be a good time.
Oh, yeah. Especially if we got that broccoli salad involved.
Mom said it's coming.
Buddy.
Somebody's making it. I ain't doing it. I can't ruin that.
I'm making deviled eggs for the first time ever. I've never even attempted that. We'll see how that goes.
Well, Raina's going to love me on the drive back then because I'm going to be farting up a storm. So apologies for being off last week, but we had a little more important business to attend to. Warren and I are pleased to announce that our young Corey is officially off the market. We spent time last week celebrating Corey and his wedding, and it was beautiful. Congratulations to him and Katie, his beautiful wife.
Yeah, shout out to Corey and Katie. Katie was absolutely stunning and beautiful at the wedding. Corey, you're pretty handsome yourself, my young lad. Great wedding, great times. I truly love you, my man.
I appreciate that. I love y'all fellas as well. It went even smoother than I imagined it would. I was low-key stressing. As I imagine any groom does when they're about to get married. I was pacing back and forth in the groomsman cottage all day. But thankfully, my brothers and Warren and all my buddies, they helped calm me down, and everything went great, man. It flew by, which sucks. But, yeah, one of the best decisions I've ever made for sure.
Yeah, it was a great time. Beautiful, beautiful wedding. Really cool venue out there in Leicester. And we also need to mention that today is Corey's birthday. We're recording this on Tuesday night, the 25th of November. Happy birthday, Bubba.
Appreciate you.
How old are you today, Corey?
29. Not 30 yet, but we're cracking it close.
Coming. You're getting old.
My body already feels 45.
Yeah, it does.
Got a little wear and tear on the tires there.
Just a little bit. Low tread.
All right. Well, we're back. Thanks for letting us take some time off to celebrate that. And guys, there was no shortage of action on Friday night. Let's start with our game of the week recap. Number 1 seeded Mountain Heritage hosted number 8 seed Lincolnton, who had just scraped by Hendersonville the previous week by 1. And dadgummit, Lincolnton did it again. It was a back-and-forth affair as the teams traded blows throughout the night, but Lincolnton edged out Mountain Heritage and sent them home 37-36. Cason Jones started off the night for the Cougars with a 61-yard TD run on the second play of the game. And guys, he's been doing that all year, and it was no different in this game. Irvin Rodriguez gave them a 14-8 lead with his first touchdown, and then his second touchdown gave them a 22-8 lead in the second quarter. Things were looking good for Mountain Heritage, but Warren, Lincolnton's a good team.
Yeah, they answered back with a 40-yard touchdown pass to cut the deficit at 22-14. The way the game started off with Mountain Heritage, I honestly thought it might be blowout material because Cason Jones just right off the bat with that 61-yarder, like you mentioned. Mm-hmm. Then they traded blows back and forth. Lincolnton taking a 1-point lead late. And then on 4th and 13 with about 40 seconds left, Deaton fired a 30-yard pass in the end zone, but he missed Cason Jones. I just want to point out, Deaton didn't have a single completed pass all game long. He only had 3 attempts. But I figured he's a pretty talented player. I figured they might get him a little bit more involved. Then after that, it was just turnover and downs, and that was a ball game. But I also want to point out, Mountain Heritage did miss a 2-point conversion and missed extra point. So it's just a heartbreaker for him, man.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say there was also the fumble. I believe it was in the third quarter that Mountain Heritage thought they had recovered. Then next thing you know, the refs had come together and decided that the runner was down. So that was also a big time hit to the Cougars.
I don't know if he was really down either, to be honest. I know they're never going to have instant replay in high school ball, I don't believe, but that's one of those bang bang plays where it just totally shifted the momentum of the game, obviously.
Yeah. And if you remember last season when Mountain Heritage made it to the regional finals against Corvian, what doomed them was their inability to finish those 2-point conversions.
Yep.
So I like they go for it, but if you don't get it, you're losing a point there every time. And you need every point in the playoffs. I think that's pretty evident now for the past 2 seasons for Mountain Heritage.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say another thing that I was concerned about going into this game. I picked Mountain Heritage to win. I thought they could battle through it, but I knew the athletes that Lincolnton had, and after seeing how they did against Hendersonville with a quarterback like Jerron Ward and an offense that loves to pass the ball, and held Hendersonville to 20 points.
Yeah.
It worried me with Mountain Heritage just because I know that Mountain Heritage, not that Deaton can't throw it. I mean, he can, but they just don't do it a lot. And so if you are able to keep him under wraps and kind of focus your defense on taking Cason Jones out of the ball game, which they didn't take him out of the ball game. I mean, he still had 200-something yards.
Right.
It kind of makes him more one-dimensional, and there's only so much you can do. But yeah, I just want to say that's what kind of worried me going into that game.
Well, I think we touched on this earlier in the season. Mount Heritage will give up yards to their passing game. I think Rashad Lynch from Lincolnton, 11 for 19, 222 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. They do give up. They're pretty decent at stopping the run, but they struggled mightily at times stopping, the pass, and it definitely showed this game, and it bit them.
Well, that was the big thing too. Whenever they played Hendersonville in that game that I went to, solo dolo, Hendersonville. If they could have, not had the turnover that they had in the second half. I mean, the first half they were giving Mountain Heritage all they could handle just from Jerron Ward throwing the ball. I mean, their receivers were cooking people left and right. So, yeah, secondary was definitely an issue.
I do want to pinpoint. Just off the top of my head, I think a lot of people think this is a massive disappointment for Mount Heritage. They were riddled with injuries up and battled all season. Senior lineman Braxton Batchelor, he played through a torn UCL, the brace on his left arm. Senior linebacker Malachi Huskins played most of the season with a torn tendon. Defensive back Parker Burleson came back from a freaking torn meniscus he suffered against Hendo. The team played with a lot of heart and grit. They have nothing to be ashamed of. They left it all out on the field. Especially Cason Jones. I think it's on the Citizen Times. He is one of the very last players on the field shaking hands. Outstanding young man, and they're going to be in it again next year. They're not going away, but it's just a heartbreaking loss for them.
Yeah, for sure. I want to talk a little bit about that last play call. If I remember right, there's around 40 seconds left. You're 4th and long. They may have been out of timeouts too, but to fire it to the end zone, 30 yards, he threw it to Cason Jones, who was double covered. He overshot him too in the corner of the end zone. Something tells me that's maybe not the best move. Try to get the first down, get up there and stop the clock. What do y'all think about shooting for the end zone there? You think it was just, hey, it's 4th down, little time left, we just need to go try to win it right here?
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think that might have been the play call at all. I think Deaton may have panicked. I'm not saying that with any certainty whatsoever. But 40 seconds is still a lot of time. You get a first down, go up there and spike the ball, and you go from there. Your bread and butter is run the ball. Now, would I run the ball on 4th and 13? No. But you can do like a little slant. I mean, you can do something else other than the way Deaton had passed the ball that game with no completion. It's basically almost like a Hail Mary with 40 seconds left. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things that I hate about running the triple option offense that Mountain Heritage does. Is it's nice that you can control the game clock and, just really ground and pound, and you can run some trickery off of it. But whenever you need to, say, go out in the spread, you need to run a trips formation to the left or the right and be able to run multiple, stack routes and do different things where you're causing some confusion for the secondary, especially when outside linebackers have to come out and play in pass coverage. I mean, it's just gets very one-dimensional to me, and it's good for mountain football, but when you get to playing these better teams, it's got athletes to be able to hang in there and play with you. You got to be able to throw a little bit more scheme at them.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. It's easy for me to sit here and try to be a coach from my recliner or couch, but seeing that live, I was like, what the hell is going on here? To be quite frank with you. Like, I just didn't get it. I'm not sure if that was the exact play design, but.
I mean, I'm sure that was the route on the play they wanted to run. I just think maybe Deaton just tried to fire it. You know, there might have been a little panic there. We don't want to speak for him, obviously. And this is his first year starting, right? He took over for Brandon Quinn. He's a junior. He'll bounce back. He's a good player. It'll be interesting to see if they incorporate him more in the passing game next season. But at the same time, triple option's their bread and butter, and that's how they got there as the number 1 seed. You hate for them to lose there. Thought they had a chance to really win state, but injuries and stuff like that Warren talked about just kind of did them in. But like Warren said, they're not going anywhere. They'll be right back in the thick of things next year. So good season for Mountain Heritage, boys. You got anything else on this one before we move on?
Nah.
Nope.
All right, so Mountain Heritage falls by 1. Lincolnton, they keep scraping by that 8 seed, pesky 8 seed. Kind of reminds me of the 8-seeded Tar Heels that made a run to the national championship in 2022, upsetting Duke in the Final Four in their first ever matchup between the two programs. But that's neither here nor there. Another great game, Mount Pleasant at Pisgah. Pisgah trailed 9-7 at the half, but did enough in the second half to hang on for an overtime win, 22-15. Corey, talk about that overtime.
Yeah, so, I mean, the Bears come out, score first in OT on a Mahaffey touchdown pass to Maddox Wright, of all people. Shout out to him. Don't hear his name called too often with all the handoffs to Pope and such and Putnam doing his thing. But and then they stopped Mount Pleasant's 4th down to seal the win. Landon Pope, 137 yards and 1 TD on 27 carries. Matthew Mahaffey, pretty solid game. He was only 3 of 8. For 57 yards passing, but had 2 touchdowns and 0 picks. And, not turning the ball over always helps. Did a good job taking care of it and capitalizing in the moment when called on. But I do want to shout out Maddox Wright, the Pisgah wide receiver. Like I said, you don't hear his name mentioned a whole lot of times, but he caught those 3 completions from Mahaffey, and he scored 2 TDs. So it's a really big-time thing for them to get Maddox Wright involved and it not just be the Landon Pope and Mason Putnam show.
Yeah, if you notice, obviously Pope, it seemed like the past month or so has been getting 39 carries, 43 carries, 41, what have you. He, quote unquote, only had 27 this game. So they've lowered the carries down a little bit, try to get a little bit more of the pass game involved. And we'll touch on this later, but that's what they're going to need to do to advance.
Great defense by the Bears in overtime, clutch performance from them. And Corey, I think that if I remember correctly, Coach Hanna brought up Maddox Wright in our interview with him. And if you haven't listened to that interview, go check it out. It was a bonus episode that we posted a couple weeks ago. Great stuff from Coach Hanna. But yeah, congrats to the Bears. They hang on in overtime. Gutsy win. And now there is a matchup with Brevard looming on the horizon. We're going to dig into that in a bit. Another back and forth game we had was Burns at Brevard. Burns had the lead midway through the fourth quarter, but Brevard had another clutch drive like they've done all season. Running back Nyrell Skinner punched in the go-ahead score with 3:45 left, and with the game on the line, the Blue Devils got a defensive stand as linebacker Kellen Rogers knocked down a 4th down pass to close the door. Warren, how about your boy Hyphen?
Tristan Thompson-Wynn had 6 catches, 59 yards, and a TD, 107 total yards on kick returns, including 80 yards to the house. You do not kick to Hyphen. I've been saying that for 2 months now. You do not kick to him. You'd rather turn the ball over on downs than kick to him. Burns had a 2017 lead early in the 4th, made a huge mistake kicking in Thompson-Wynn, and put Brevard back on top. Burns got the ball back and scored, but you just can't make that kind of mistake, and Hyphen made them pay like he always does whenever you kick to him. You don't kick to him. You just don't kick to him. You kick the ball out of bounds, turn the ball over downs. You'd be better off throwing an interception or something to kicking him. Christian Conley from Brevard, 13 for 17, 125 yards and a touchdown. Also rushed the ball for 35 yards. Good. He's solid. I don't think we talk about him enough. We talk about Brevard's other weapons, but he's always very efficient. Barely turns the ball over. He always has stat lines like that. Kellen Rodgers and Carter McAfee led the Blue Devils in 9-11 tackles. This game, in my opinion, Brevard escaped. This is one of those playoff games where they probably should have lost, in my opinion. They escaped from him. That's what winning teams do.
Here's my thing. So was it last year that? Well, I know it was last year. Did Brevard lose in the 4th round to Monroe?
That was in the regional finals. So it was fifth round.
5th round. Okay, so it was 5th round. Oh wow. Okay, so they've got a legitimate chance to get back there. I'm not saying they're just going to go in and beat Pisgah and get there, but they should feel confident about their situation. But yeah, I thought that Burns, they kind of worried me just a little bit that they had the athletes to be able to compete with Brevard, and clearly they were able to somewhat take Hyphen out of the game. I mean, we've seen a lot bigger numbers from him before. It's mainly his kick return yards that allowed them to really pull ahead. But yeah, I don't know. Brevard's got to figure some stuff out. I think Kessinger being out, they're really missing him.
See, here's my thing with Hyphen. It's not necessarily the numbers. Sometimes he doesn't put up any numbers. It's the attention he draws. Like if you put him on the far outside, you have to have a safety. You got to double him. Like you got to do something you damn sure can't kick to him, or you'll get burned like Burns did. You see what I did there?
I like that. That.
I thought of that all on my own. But yeah, he might have only had 59 yards receiving, but the amount of attention he draws, it opens up so much more for their other players like Skinner and Thompson. But here's my thing though, is what I'm saying is like you're absolutely right. Like he does draw a lot of attention, but when you go to play some of these teams that have the athletes all across the field, you know, from sideline to sideline, he can draw a couple defenders' attention, but you got to be able to have your other players produce as well.
And Brevard has done that. I mean, they've got a bunch of weapons. Skinner had around 50-something yards. Thompson had around 50-something. I think as a team, they were close to 200 yards rushing, I want to say, with a bunch of different people. Ajipon got in there. Like Warren mentioned, Conley had, 35 yards rushing. So Brevard's got a lot of talent all around. It does suck not having Kessinger beyond just the leadership stuff. You put him at quarterback, Conley can go out to wide receiver and be a threat there too. So it hurts not having that. And you know, we've been over this, but in games like this, it does seem to show up more that Kessinger wasn't involved. I think, you know, if Kessinger's there, they probably win by a little more of a comfortable margin than 3 points.
Yeah, because I mean, you got Kessinger playing safety too. I mean, he was just all around.
Yeah. But Brevard did what winning teams do, what champions do, and they escaped. They got by. That 3rd round game is always going to be tough. I think Coach Hanna also talked about that. Like if you get the 4th round, anything can happen. You get over that hump in that 3rd round game because you're going to play a quality team at that point. It's tough. So Burns was a pesky 8C, but Brevard escapes. Someone who didn't have any trouble winning was Robbinsville, which is no surprise there. They beat East Columbus. They beat East Columbus 54-7. Not a whole lot to talk about. Robbinsville kept East Columbus to 113 yards total offense, and they were up 48-0 at the half. So, again, not a whole lot to say other than Robbinsville is a wagon in 1A, just like we expected them to be.
Are you sure they didn't play East Candler Elementary?
Makes them look like it, yeah.
Well, I know they gave 9 different players a rushing attempt, so they put in the backups. They might have put the middle school team in, not sure. We'll have to look into that.
We're prepping you boys for the future.
Isaac Collins got in there. Tisa Teskey got in there. We've talked about them a bunch. the last 4 weeks, Robbinsville has won by an average of 51 points. So that's they've had a pretty good season, I think. They should win it all. I don't want to put pressure on the kids, but come on. you guys got to win. You got to do it. You're the favorites. Anything else on that before we move on?
Nah.
No, there's not much to talk about on that. The game was over before it even started, so we can continue.
Okay. Well, there was another blowout, but this one in 2A by somebody in Robbinsville's conference. Murphy, the Bulldogs, baby, beat the Community School of Davidson. Warren hates that name. Murphy won 62-20. Murphy had a 2-score lead at the half, and then they ran away with it in the second half, literally. Murphy rushed for 759 total yards, which is the fourth best in state, the fourth best in state history, on 46 carries. The majority.
Sorry, I just want to say I did not. I saw that Clem had like 8 touchdowns, but I did not know that stat.
Well, yeah, Corey. So Cameron Clem did the majority of the damage for him. How about 456 yards and 8 touchdowns for Cameron Clem? What a game.
That's insane. But hold on. I got to go back to that last stat. I'm mind blown. How was that only the fourth best in state history? You telling me what was number one, 1,000 yards in a game?
No, that means 3 other teams have played Inca High at one point.
Whoa.
Dang, even when we're not talking about Inca, we got to throw a barb in there.
They're just catching random strays.
I think that was pretty solid, man. Do you guys think? I think it was pretty good. It made me giggle.
We'll leave it in. Cameron Clem's 8 touchdowns tied a state record. So, Corey, somebody's had more than that.
That's crazy.
Or at least had as many, I guess. And the 456 yards was tied for the 11th most all-time in state history and the 3rd most in the postseason. So somebody has ran wild. I would like to know who that was that had a better game than that, because that's just nuts.
I'm just going to pinpoint. It seems Community School of Davidson, props on getting the 3rd round of the playoffs. But it seems like anytime a team is named Community School of, they get smoked. And they got smoked last Friday. Horribly bad.
Well, we didn't get to talk about this last week because we were off. Community School of Davidson beat the crap out of Swain. Absolutely killed them. And then they lose by 42 to Murphy and give up 1 billion rushing yards. It's just crazy. I thought it would be a closer game. I actually told the guys that we should pick this game as our game of the week, and they said no. Props to them. They were right, because this is not a good game.
The more that I thought about it, though, like after you were like, you think that it's going to be a blowout? I was like, well, I went back and looked, and I was like, dang, Community School of Davidson, just seeing how well that they can pass the ball. And I know that Murphy struggled with teams that can throw it like Reynolds. Completely different school sizes there, but I was kind of second guessing myself the more I looked at it. But Murphy proved that they do what they do.
Yeah. So Warren, talk about that Bulldog defense too. I feel like they were overshadowed by the ground attack, but they showed up.
I mean, not only did they run for 759 yards, they also had 3 picks, 9 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, 9 QB hurries. Brady Orton led the team with 10 tackles and 2 tackles for loss. So not only do you run for not nearly, but you do run for 759 total yards, but you have 3 picks, 9 TFLs, 4 sacks. Community School of Davidson, you need to check on your quarterback because he's probably still hurting, both psychologically and physically.
I mean, we did talk about how the Bulldogs defense has been playing well lately, and by golly, they showed up. So,
yeah,
hey, props to Murphy.
They showed up like the 85 Bears defense.
I'm pretty sure Brody Orton's that linebacker they have that's got the super long hair.
Sounds like somebody who would be named Brody Orton. He looks like long hair.
He looks like he gives no craps.
Wonder if he's related to Randy Orton.
Mine.
He looked like it with 10 tackles. So, yeah, congrats, Murphy. Beat the snot out of him. Good job advancing. Mitchell hosted Mountain Island Charter and won 28-15. The 11 seed, the Mitchell Mountaineers, are going to the fourth round, boys. Owen Riddle led the way for Mitchell with 15 rushes and 101 yards. Kaj Pittman also had 20 carries for 81 yards. 4 different players with rushing touchdowns for the Mountaineers, and Riddle, Pittman, Alex Wences, apologies if that's not how you pronounce your last name, and Deshaun Orr. They all got in on the party.
Yeah, and Mitchell, they just really dominated the time of possession with over 33 minutes compared to Mountain Island's 14, and Cinderella's still dancing, boys.
I mean, I didn't see Mitchell making it this far. I knew they had a quality team. You know, they played a tough schedule like a bunch of teams in the mountains did, but fourth round, I didn't see that coming.
I've got to give credit to the realignment. I mean, I know there's a few things that I don't like about it, but I mean, you see stuff like this, like Mitchell getting to the fourth round, and I truly credit that to just the whole playing field being evened out.
I'm going to tell you guys something right now. Mitchell's red hot. I think they start off 3-4, 4-4. They've rolled off like 5 straight wins. They believe in themselves. Yeah. They got Kaj Pittman, who's a stud, obviously. Now you got Owen Riddle chipping in. I'm telling you, there might be something special brewing in Mitchell County. You never know. I like that.
Yeah. By the way, I was watching the highlights on WLOS, and they called him Kai Pittman. I don't know if that was a mistake on their part or we're idiots calling him Kaj. No clue. So if we're saying your name wrong, I'm sorry. Pittman is a baller. We have talked about you all year, so if we got your first name wrong, sorry about that.
It probably is Kai.
If your name is Kai and you don't just spell it Kai and that's not our problem.
I mean,
take it up with your parents.
To be honest,
I'm sure he's heard it his whole life.
To be honest, it doesn't matter if it's Kai or Kaj Pittman. I mean, every Friday, rather, he gets you at least 100 yards. We'll just start calling him Pittman from now on.
No, he's a great player. So, yeah, Cinderella. She ain't going home yet, baby. Good job, Mitchell. But, Warren, we got to talk about this now. Your state champion, the Franklin Panthers, go down. Now, you've been riding with them ever since they lost to Brevard in overtime. They showed they could hang with them. You've been right there, called them your state champion pick. Do you think because you took last week off that this loss is your fault?
I don't think it's my fault at all. Or maybe it is my fault. Maybe if I was on here last week with a Panther mask on or something, they would have won. Regardless, their defense got absolutely smoked. And I love the Franklin Panthers. Been cheering for you guys all season. We gave up over 450 total yards. Maddox McCree from Hickory was 11 for 16 for 216 yards. Their rushing attack, my name is Zach McCathern. Sorry if I mispronounced that rather. And Jaheim Jenkins nearly had 242 total yards. You guys' defense is better than that. Your guys' defense is better than that.
Here's my thing, dude. So I originally had Hickory to win by 21, and I changed it last minute because Caleb posted last week that we're not having an episode, and then all the Franklin kids are on there like, "Hey, Corey, man, congratulations." I was like, "Oh, that's all right. I'm gonna tone this one down a little bit." I had to throw that in there because we'd have been right there, boys, but.
Yeah, I don't think I mentioned the score. So Hickory wins 36-14. Tough loss for Franklin. Hickory's a good team. Anderson Terrell, he was 13 for 31 rather for 220 yards. And then Warren, Garrett Young, talk about him.
His sophomore campaign was absolutely stupid. I'm sorry if you hear my dog in the background. He's stupid right now too. So Garrett Young had 122 yards on 22 carries, but on the season, and this is just a sophomore, had almost 1,800 rushing yards with 23 total touchdowns, and on the defensive end as a linebacker, 106 total tackles. If I can say tackles, right? Tackles. There we go. Just a hell of a season for Garrett Young. I also want to shout out sophomore Gabe Harrison. He had 7 catches for $192. But Hickory was just, to be honest with you, they were just too athletic for him. But Franklin does have Terrell coming back. Garrett Young, as a junior, I can only imagine what's going to, let alone a senior, what's going to transpire with that. Franklin's got a bright future. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just one of those things. They ran into a juggernaut.
Well, I mean, you got Gabe Harrison as a sophomore coming back as well.
Yeah.
They're looking to be all right.
Yep, for sure. And like we said, Anderson Terrell, he'll be back as a senior playing quarterback. So they returned, a good part of their skill positions on offense. It'll be exciting to see what Franklin can do, but unfortunately they fell to Hickory. Warren was wrong. Franklin does not win state, even though, we were all rooting for them. They were the only 5A team we had left, and now they're gone.
Hey, you guys are still my boys,
better
though.
luck next year.
You guys are still my boys. You need to take it easy
for
on
sure.
Instagram a little bit, but you guys are still my boys. I see what you guys be posting. Take it easy.
Yeah, we still love you, Franklin. So let's get into some coaching news that we had while we were out. I'm going to start off by talking about Reynolds head coach Shane Laws retiring after 19 season. He finishes as Reynolds' all-time winningest coach, 184 wins and 2 state championships, one in 2007 as an assistant coach, and then one in 2009 as head coach. That was his 3rd season with the program. He was 104-13 in conference play in the MAC. I think that's pretty good.
I think that's pretty solid.
Yeah, you have fewer losses than you do seasons coached in conference. I think that's all right. They won 12 conference titles, 10 of which were outright, including a stretch of 6 consecutive undefeated seasons in conference play. So, amazing career for Coach Laws, and congrats on him in his retirement. But yeah, we're losing a legend for sure, boys.
Yeah, I mean, just to be the all-time winningest coach there, which, I mean, he was there for quite some time. But, I mean, I don't know if you guys remember back in the early 2000s, they had Coach Bobby Poss, who's went to a few other schools and had success. And Shane Laws, man, I mean, that was their coach when I played against them. And I've seen a lot of their games. And he just, I don't know. I mean, yeah, he's got the athletes, but he's definitely just a good coach in general. I mean, to just be that successful for so many consecutive years and to win so many conference titles. Because, I mean, it's not like the MAC has a bunch of scrubs, you know what I mean? Like, even back when they played, like they lost to Irwin last year in a close one, but back like the 2010 Irwin teams, 2009, they were right there in the mix with them. I mean, you remember how good of teams Asheville's had. Yeah, Laws, man, he's that's all I can say is he's a great coach.
I think not only was he great at X's and O's, but he's also a leader of men. Like he develops
sure.
He develops kids not only as players, but he develops them to become men in real life as family men, what have you. So it's a well-deserved retirement and great career.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be if you're going to win that many games, because your roster changes so much in high school from year to year. You might have some sophomores that started on varsity and become seniors, and that's great, but it's a lot different. You're not bringing in recruits or anything per se. You might get a transfer here and there, but it's nothing like the college level. So to have that kind of sustained success means you've built a culture, and I think Shane Laws definitely did that. And like I said, we're losing a legend, but congrats to him. And there's another guy that retired, Mike Sexton. He's out after 5 seasons at Inca, also retiring. He didn't have the success that I'm sure he would have liked to have had on the field with the Jets, but he finished his coaching career with 110 wins. He also coached at East Henderson, Tuscola, and Irwin. And Warren, like you were talking about with Shane Laws, just a guy that's a great leader of men too. Regardless of what happens on the field, he's molding young men, doing a great job there. Corey, I know you can chime in on this too. We both know Mike personally, grew up in church with his family, know his kids and his wife, Debbie. Used to go over to their house and hang out sometimes back in the day as kids. So just a great guy.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess you could say I'm showing some favoritism here just because I know the guy, but at the same time, I think anybody who's ever come across meeting Coach Sexton and had the privilege of knowing him knows that dude would give the shirt off his back to anyone, especially his kids that he coached. I mean, at every school that he had been at. I know his most successful years was at Irwin. They had some dang good football teams, but I've talked to past players that have played for him, and just asked what they thought of him, and these kids not even knowing that I know him, and just talk nothing but high things. Spoke highly of him, and yeah, Mike Sexton, you're one of the good ones, man. And shout out to you and your career. You did some good for the community.
Well, I obviously don't know him, but what you guys say, he's an absolutely great guy. And props to him for less than 5 seasons at Inca. If anyone coaches Inca for 5+ seasons, they probably develop health problems. So it might, I don't know. So he probably needs to think about his health and get out of there.
His blood pressure.
Yeah.
But yeah, in all seriousness, Coach Sexton, you're a great dude. Congratulations to you. And we wish you well on your retirement. And now it's time for our certified Dogs of the Week. My pick is Cameron Clem from Murphy. 456 yards and 8 touchdowns. We've already talked about the record-setting performance. He's a stud. He's a bulldog, and he is my certified Dog of the Week.
My pick's Cason Jones, Mount Heritage, obviously. 233 yards, 2 touchdowns, only 22 carries. I saw the way he reacted after that devastating loss. Nothing but class. He's an upstanding young man. He is heartbroken. We've talked about him a ton on the podcast since we started. You're definitely my certified Dog of the Week.
I got to go with my man Tristan Thompson-Wynn, as we like to call Hyphen. He only had 59 yards receiving on 6 catches, but he did have a touchdown, and he had 107 kick return yards, with 1 return being a critical 80-yarder for a touchdown. Excuse me. Tristan Thompson-Wynn, you're a certified dog.
So we've talked a little bit about this. It's time for our Game of the Week preview. It all comes down to this. The road to the regional finals runs through Brevard Memorial Stadium. It's Pisgah, Brevard, a rematch born from overtime heartbreak and unfinished business. Their first meeting ended with Brevard slipping away by a thread to win the conference title. Landon Pope has been the engine of Pisgah's season, shaking off tacklers and dragging defenders into long nights. But across from him awaits Tristan Thompson-Wynn, Brevard's lightning bolt, who turns routine catches into game breakers and forces defenses to hold their breath on every snap. It's power meets speed, grit meets flash. 2 teams who have felt each other's punch and came back stronger. But this time, there is no cushion, no extra frame to settle it. Someone's season ends, and someone's story grows. The rematch is here. Pisgah versus Brevard.
Yeah, what gets me excited? So Pope's rushing attempts the last 2 weeks, they've went down from 40+ a game to 23 and 27 in these last 2 weeks. But they got Putnam getting more involved in the attack, and he's helping out, getting about 7 to 8 attempts a game. It's a nice change of pace. Not quite as versatile as Brevard's offense, but it is something different than the last time that these two played. I don't know, man. I'm getting excited. I like to see what Pisgah's doing.
They're not quite as, like you said, not quite as versatile as Brevard's offense, but Pisgah just played their best defensive game of the season, in my opinion. I think Coach Ricky Brinley said that with the Citizen Times. Complete defensive performance, rather. They're going to have to do the same this upcoming week, if not more. Brevard just has so many freaking weapons.
Yeah, Brevard shows off those weapons week in and week out. We've talked about them. Conley, Skinner, Thompson, Hyphen, Thompson-Wynn. They all keep getting their touches, and if they do win, it's going to be because of those weapons and the versatility they have. Brevard's 30 points last week against Burnsville. That was the fewest they have put up all season, which just speaks to how dynamic their offense has been. They're going to have to bring it again on Friday night if they want to beat Pisgah.
Yeah, I think Pisgah's special teams is going to come into play. I just think that's going to be pivotal for them. In their previous matchup, they did a fantastic job on punts and kickoffs. Their punter did a great job of holding on to the ball, letting his defenders get down there, placing it well from sideline to sideline. Same with the kickoffs. Just really did not let Thompson-Wynn get the ball all game. Caleb, it kind of reminded me when Carolina upset Miami back in 2005. They just kicked away from Devin Hester all night long. And Devin Hester, you could tell, was getting frustrated, couldn't do anything with it. But also they had a blocked. I can't remember if it was a block kick or a block PAT. But Pisgah seems to do that in a lot of games, and if you can do that against good teams, that can come back to help you and come back to bite the other team.
You can't kick the hyphen.
No. Does Pisgah need to throw in some wrinkles this game to their offense? You talked about how Pope's getting less touches past couple weeks, but is Mahaffey going to be more involved against Brevard, or do you stick to your bread and butter and just hand Pope the rock?
I think that if Pisgah if they do what they did the last game, they're going to lose again. Which they lost 36-30 in overtime. There's nothing wrong with that. It was away, very respectable loss. You have to do something different. You got to open up the pass game a little bit. I said this the last time. First play of the game, throw it deep. Throw it deep. Like, if anything, it's like a punt. You have to. I wouldn't go that far, but you're going to have to take some deep shots. I don't care if it's Maddox right, Putnam. I don't care if you have to do a little route with Pope on the outside. Do something. You just can't. Can't pound the rock up the middle 45 times, because Brevard's. They're going to be well prepared for that.
Brevard's been exposed a couple times over the top. I remember in that Wes Henderson game, they were able to get behind him a little bit. Asa Osman, I think, had a deep catch for a touchdown. So that could be a bit of vulnerability if Mahaffey's filling up to it. Put him in there and let him fire that bad boy downfield.
Well, I don't know if Warren remembers, but when we went to watch Pisgah and Brevard the first round, Mahaffey did hit somebody on a freaking deep ball out of nowhere. It was on. I can't remember exactly where it was in the game, but it was something that I wasn't expecting. I don't think Warren was expecting, because all of a sudden, Mahaffey drops back. You know how good he throws a deep ball, and hit him for a quick score, and it was like, wow. And that was to give Pisgah the lead again too. So. Yeah, I think you definitely got to throw some wrinkles in, get some play action involved, especially if you can get the run game established a little bit, and not necessarily run up the middle, but just kind of mix it up, maybe even run some jet sweeps with Putnam, stuff like that, then start running some play action off of it. I think they got a good chance.
Mahaffey has legit arm talent. Like, he's not just one of those quarterbacks that's out there like, hey, I'm gonna hand the ball off. No, he can legit throw a legit spiral 50 yards easy. And I think that's what they're going to have to do. At least they got to at least take 3 to 4 shots deep Friday. If they run the ball 50 times, Brevard's just got too many weapons.
Yeah, these teams know each other so well. The coaching staffs know each other very well. It's going to be interesting to see. You got friends from the coaches on each side. I think Coach Coleman and Coach Hanna, didn't he say they played together at Pisgah?
Yep.
I believe so. They know each other,
and
it's
Ricky.
Interesting to see,
and Coach Brindley. They all play together, so it's pretty unique situation.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot like two boxers filling each other out at the start of the game. I bet it's going to be kind of low scoring, and then similar to how that first game went between them, the fireworks are going to pick up in the fourth quarter, and that's where we're going to see who's got enough to advance and who's going to go home. So let's get into our picks, Corey. Do us the honors of starting us off.
Yeah, so I think Pisgah fully has the talent to come in there and win at Brevard. I think, like I said, they're going to have to put some wrinkles in. They're going to have to do a little bit more on the outside and throwing the ball a little bit more than they are used to doing. But the thing that worries me is I feel like Brevard, they're gonna stack the box more to really keep Pope honest and make Pisgah throw the ball. And I think that Brevard's going to trust their secondary to match up. I think that especially they feel comfortable enough to man their best defender up in the secondary on Putnam and, kind of let just everybody else play. And with it being at Brevard and, Brevard being hungry after last year's loss to Monroe, and not that Pisgah's not hungry. I just think Brevard has too many weapons this year. I think it's a good game, but I think Brevard wins by 10.
Red Devil, Sun Devil, I don't care, Blue Devil. Give the ball to Maddox. Can't be wrong when your last name's right, and good things will happen. Give me Pisgah by 2. Let's go!
He brought the mask out again. He's riding with the Bears, baby. Oh, man. Part of me thinks that Pisgah gets this one back. I kind of want to see it, honestly, but my head just tells me Brevard gets it done. I've got the Blue Devils by 6. I mean, what a game, boys. We couldn't have asked for anything better in the 4th round. This is awesome. Good luck to both teams. We're pumped to watch it.
Yeah, Friday night at my wedding, we're all like gathered up in a huddle. I just want y'all to know how serious this is for us. We're sitting there, we're like, dude, we need these two to win. Like, we got to have this matchup.
Yeah. And it guarantees at least one more episode of the Mountain Matchups podcast because one of these teams has to advance. So
yes, sir.
It's even better for us. If all the other teams lose, we still got at least one to talk about next week. But
go Blue Bears.
Good luck to it. Go Blue Bears. All right, let's do our last picks for the rest of the playoff games. We're going to start it off with South Davidson at Robbinsville. Warren.
This is a trap game for Robbinsville. South Davidson's 10-1, I believe. You're not. I don't care what kind of competition they may have had. I don't care if they played one of those community day schools or whatever they're called. Whatever. This is a trap game for Robbinsville. I'll still take Robbinsville by 7. But this is not going to be one of those give me 50-point win things.
Okay. I got Robbinsville by 30, I think, until they prove otherwise, which they haven't. I'm going to roll with them winning in or out. Corey?
Listen, when it comes to these Davidson schools, if we were talking basketball and, the Cinderella team that's got Steph Curry, maybe I go South Davidson. But we're talking football. We're talking mountains. We're talking the Black Knights. Give me Robbinsville by 25.
I like it. Corvian Community at Murphy. So remember, Corvian's the team that knocked off Mountain Heritage in the Western Regional Final last year. I think Murphy avenges the Mountains. They win by 10. Corey, what do you think?
I think Corvian doesn't even come close to having the team that they had last year. And Murphy, they just been rolling lately. Cameron Clem, he's a freaking force. Give me Murphy by 17.
Anytime, I know they beat Mountain Heritage last year, and that's all fine and dandy, but this is a new year, new beginnings, new things. Anytime I see a team with community in them, I feel like my grandparents playing bingo at a local community center. Give me Murphy by 7, and that's being polite because I think they might blow them out.
And last, we have Cinderella. Number 11 seed Mitchell going to play Starmount. Starmount has given up just 8 points per game this year. It's pretty good defense. Corey, can Mitchell do enough to win?
I'm pulling for him. Obviously, as we say every week, I'm pulling for the Mountain teams. I just don't think so. I think Starmount, they've played, I don't know if I'd say a lot, like in terms of a better schedule. I think they've got more athletes. It's a long drive for Mitchell. I got Starmount by 8.
Starmount sounds like a piss poor version of a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. That being said, give me Mitchell by 3. Give me Mitchell by the Cinderella's going to keep dancing. They're not going to lose a Starmount. No.
Not so fast, my friend. Get it? Because you did the mask thing like Lee Corso? I think the clock strikes midnight on Mitchell. I've got Starmount by 14. But go Mitchell. I want Cinderella to keep dancing for sure. And that's it. That's all we got. Boys, we're winding down. It's kind of sad. We're coming to the end of the year. I don't know how to feel about it.
Hey, we got to keep going. We got to keep going at least once a month with something. I don't care if we talk about some wrestling or I know people around here do care about softball. I know they care about it much other than Inca, but
we can talk about getting you a new webcam.
Yeah. Corey,
you're glowing.
Corey, this is the first time you've had solid internet in 2 years, so I don't want to hear that.
Hey, I always made it happen, though.
Yeah, we should mention Corey got a new place to live, him and his wife. So all these great things happening in Corey's life.
Yeah, I'm jealous.
Big moves.
I want all our listeners.
And he killed a deer.
I did. Me and my buddy doubled up. But no, back to the internet situation. I want all of our listeners to
Whoa.
know when the guy from Spectrum talked to me, he's like, what kind of internet you looking for? I was like, well, the first thing I mentioned was I do a podcast with my homies. We love talking football, and I need the fast stuff. And he's like, I got you. And he hooked me up, and we've had no problems.
Well, I'm glad you and your buddy doubled up.
Yeah, me too. Doubled up on some deer. Good job. All right, let's get out of here. We'll let you guys know if we're able to stream our watch party on Friday. I think it'd be fun for Brevard and Pisgah. We'll see if we can make that happen, and we'll make a post about it if we can do it. But for now, that concludes another episode of the Mountain Matchups podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, and good luck to all the teams in WNC this Friday. Boys, I love you.
Love you.
We'll see you next week.
Love you.
Love y'all.